What's good? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jace Goes Phantom in this motherfucker. And right now, man, we just want to get into talk about cognitive dissonance, plus operational bias, because both really tie hand in hand, right? Cognitive dissonance is when a person has two different beliefs, two different values that is contradictory to each other, and they really playing out one value and they're not really playing out the other. So it's the energy of serving two masters. You know what I'm saying? Not really being able to choose a side. Let's say a person, for example, say, they want to be they want to have a healthy set of lungs. That's their goal. They want to become a runner or whatever like that. Well, they can't be on the side smoking cigarettes as well and knowing, okay, that's going to affect, their lung health. So it's like they're holding two different values, two different beliefs, doing two different cognitions that are contrary to each other. So it becomes self-conflicting where it's like, okay, how do I return myself back to equilibrium? Which value do I actually serve? And so people jump out of one value to the other, but it become like the energy of, serving two masters. And, then that gets into the operational bias where, okay, what is a person actually operatively, objectively carrying out? Let's say a person, for example, say, I'm a hardworking person, on their mind, or they babble, they tell others, right? But they're not actually doing the things that are associated with hard work. That becomes their operational bias plus their cognitive dissonance. And when you call them out on these things, they're just going to want to ignore it, because a lot of the times people got to understand, like, people like their problems. People don't want to get rid of their problems. People want to, just kind of pretend or, get with the trend. Just kind of be fake the funk, but not really actually deal with the real problem. Because a lot of times people sometimes just get off of being able to manipulate others and just being able to be seen in a particular light or in a particular way and stuff like that. And that alone sometimes may be enough to feed their desire, whether it be being seen, being heard, or getting attention, or whatever it is that a person may have really just lacked based upon their childhood and things like that develop into some type of, so that lack of fulfillment develop into a bunch of behaviors and tendencies that really don't really need to go that far. But people just people will go far just to cover up for not really being who they say they are, to keep it simple and shit like that, right? So cognitive dissonance is the same idea of serving two masters, mentally and just playing it out physically, right? It's an error of not being able to choose a side, like having two different values or beliefs that are not consistent with one another. It's a disconnection between what's on the mind as an idea that a person wants to play out, but can the body play out what's on the mind, right? So it's like, because the mind is like the ritual, the body is the mind, because the mind just based upon the beliefs, the thoughts and feelings on the mind, a person gonna play that out with their body. Especially if that program is so deeply subconsciously ingrained in them, that's going to be what a person play out and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever it is that they say. Because a lot of the times, what a person say a lot of the times be a script, be a narrative for a motive or a desire that they got, really at the end of the day. Right? So, yeah. So as an ideal, a person want to play out an ideal, but physically, right, there's a disconnect between who a person say they are and what they actually do. But see, a person with like cognitive dissonance, like in a bad way, it goes further than just that. You could tell them, hey, you say you're this in word babble, but you're not doing it in deed and doing. A person like this will purposely ignore that, the fact, the reality, what they're being called out for and shit like that, right? And continue to operate in ignorance and ignore the reality that people are calling out. And here's the thing though, right? People are their own worst enemy. People are their own problem, right? So wherever an individual like this go, they'll always be called out. They'll always be seen. They'll always be dealt with in the same way, because eventually it's like everyone will just see, okay, damn, this person is just being like this, and no matter where they go, they're still going to be looked at for that same thing, because that's what they're being. It's like whatever a person is being in their state of being, whoever a person is being, that's who they are being. So it's like whatever a person is being, they can't get rid of it because that's who they're being and shit like that, right? So if a person is purposely operating the cognitive dissonance plus their operational bias, then it's like you have no way but to sit back, no matter from whose angle. Eventually, people will look at this person like, okay, this person's X, Y, and Z. If a person say they're hardworking, but they're not doing hard work, eventually they'll just be looked at, oh shit, this person's actually just lazy and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or, whatever the situation may apply for whatever person you may be observing and shit like that, and continue to operate in ignorance or darkness, right? Because a person that's mind is lost in darkness and shit like that, meaning they went through so many experiences that they're convinced of and they believe all these thoughts and feelings on their mind and shit like that. So that darkness, they don't know how to see reality from someone's perspective and actually consider for a second that, oh shit, I may be playing out something retarded. I may be just kind of being slow of understanding what type of pattern I'm in. And then, oh shit, let me actually change this because this person is actually trying to help me out. And the universe is actually just telling you what you is. That's all it is. Because the universe can only show you what you is at the end of the day, right? Yeah, and continue to operate in ignorance or darkness. Lack of ability to observe the sphere of reality, Saturn, right? What is systematically being carried out as behaviors and tendencies by them, because a person like this probably lack the ability to observe themselves, self-reflect, assess, and change, most importantly, and shit like that, right? So a person with cognitive dissonance, here's the thing, they don't even really want to change. They really want to ignore the problem, continue the ignorance, and continue to try to carry out whatever desire they got. And it'll probably just be some type of manipulation or some shit like that at the end of the day, right? By them. And all that is, like I said, is by no coincidence, because their mind and chakras are all being utilized for a desire or motive, right? Basically the manipulation sphere, where a person is manipulating all their faculties, their heart chakra, what they say, you know what I'm saying? Everything just to get that desire and shit like that, right? And even if you call them out, their mind will subconsciously do its best to ignore you, because it's like their mind just look at it like, oh shit, I gotta survive. Oh shit, I gotta stay safe and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, and if you do call them out, they'll probably start feeling even stressed out, worried and shit like that. But it's like they'll just try to like not show you their sweat and be like, oh yeah, this person don't know what's going on. And it's like good criminals, they know that. Good criminals, they know this shit. Good criminals, they know if they don't say nothing. Good criminals, they know if they don't show you nothing, you can't know anything, type shit like that. Like, how do you think you got good criminals in the government? How do you think you got good criminals in the street that'll scam you and shit like that? Because they know what they're doing. And shit like that, right? So people really will be out here. Let's say a person tell you like, oh, they make money legitimately, right? But all they do is scam people. And if you call them out on it, their operational bias, they'll create a cognitive dissonance, start to get angry and frustrated at you and try to fucking attack you or some shit like that. Or just completely ignore you and just continue to carry out that operational bias and shit like that. Because like, it's crazy, bro. It's just crazy. But again, that's just how like a devil be. A devil will do whatever it takes to carry out that desire. Like real shit. Like, but again, like most of the people you come across in this world are just be like imps. Little midgets or whatever like that. Those guys don't even really come out type shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But they subconsciously do their best to ignore you because they really like the problem, because it allows them to continue with the ignorance or confusion. Because here's the thing, some people like their form of confusion because it allows them to what? Just stay comfortable their whole life, continue to try to find a fool to manipulate or take advantage of and shit like that, and just keep on continuing their routine and stuff like that, right? And some people just sign up for this shit because that's what they've known their whole life. That's what they've done their whole life. Like, they've done that so many times. That's what they believe is the best thing to do and shit like that. They can't see anything from no other perspective, like, how things can come any other way and shit like that. Because here's the thing. Whatever the manipulator is trying to get, like, it'd be 1,000 other healthier ways to go about that and get that they just don't really believe in and stuff like that. Because again, they don't really believe in God. They don't really believe in all possibility. But they really believe their desire. They really believe like, yeah, this one thing, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna be in this one way, and that's it. Type shit like that, right? So it's like I gave an example earlier, right? So, but I'll say it again. It's like saying I'm a hard worker, but that person doesn't do anything productive. So what they say and do are actually two different things. So they'll ignore you if you call them out. Hey, you're not really hard working. You're not really being productive, and shit like that, right? They'd ignore you and continue to operate on the operational bias, and they just sit there and just have this cognitive dissonance where like you can tell them some shit, but they'll just let it out of the other ear and be like, nah, I just want to continue this. Oh my God. Like, this is the best. I'm the best. And the best at what? The best at being retarded? The best at being fucking slow? That ain't nothing to that ain't not that is not a good look for nobody. Okay? And if you confront them, they'll just if you confront them, aka their operational bias, they'll just get either angry and frustrated at you or covertly try to manipulate the facts. Like, they might even start speaking quickly, and any person that try to speak way too quick without explaining themselves is basically kind of like a bullshit person almost, because they try to like it's like the whole tactic of, you know, Gish Gallop, where I'm gonna say a bunch of shit so you can't address any of the points that I say, or they'll try to say a bunch of words to just confuse you and shit like that, so you don't have enough time to answer. And that comes from like a demonic intelligence too and shit like that, right? Because you're not even trying to have a conversation. You're really just trying to convince. You're not really trying to go back and forth. You're just really trying to convince people of, oh, this is this. But is it really? Or did you convince yourself based upon your own experiences, based upon your thoughts and feelings, based upon your own beliefs, based upon your own operational bias, based upon your own bias that, hey, oh, this is a reality, guys, and everybody better should look at it this way. You know? It's crazy. Yeah. And yeah, basically, and they'll just simply ignore you, continue to operate in that ignorance, because that low vibrational pattern may be so strong in them, and they so convinced by their experiences and beliefs, right, that this is the only way they know how to be. It's a spirit that's trapped in light, awareness, experiences, thoughts and feelings accumulated over time. And they're convinced that this is just how life should be, and shit like that, right? But yeah, because whenever a person can like challenge their own value system, their own belief based upon the evidence that exists in front of them in reality and stuff like that, that is a person that likes their operational bias, want to be in some cognitive dissonance for whatever desire that they got going on and shit like that, you know? But whatever desire that they got going on that they're trying to get, they don't realize that there's so many ways they can come about, but they're so fixated on this one way of how it can come about. So if it's money, they'd be like, you know what? Shit, I gotta go scam a bunch of people. If it's like whatever it be, they just convinced like, okay, it can only happen this one way. But it's like, it's truly so many different ways that shit can come. Like, the universe is not even a place to try to control. Like, if you go outside, try to control someone outside, they'll quickly resist you. So it's like trying to control shit is like, will make the universe kind of like resist, will make you kind of create this mental resistance towards all the possible ways which by something can come. Because there's truly so many ways something can come, but people try to like, you know, control shit. So there ain't no point in trying to control shit. You just gotta let shit flow. You know, when you're in the flow, you start to connect with the source all around you, and you start to, it's weird. It's weird how it works, you know? I'm not claiming that I'm there or anything like that yet, but, you know, that's one of the things I'm working on and shit like that, you know? But yeah, with that being said, man, that was cognitive dissonance plus operational bias. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you throw a comment so we can kick YouTube's ass motherfucking algorithm. And I'm going to see y'all motherfucking tomorrow. Peace out. Booyah.